Cool. All right. Got another special guest, a local guy in Tom Driver. He's got his own business, a sports school, and we're going to talk about that. And let me see here. Boom. There he is. Nico Steriti. 5'4". What's up there, Coach?
Hey, Coach, how are we?
How are you, man?
We're doing well.
That was the quickest any guest has ever gone on my show.
I told you 25 seconds, right?
Oh, my God, man. It's unbelievable. Wow. That's great, man. Hey, pleasure to have you on this show. Pleasure to have you on this show. I just want to say the guys that you've had coaching that are in my program has spoke nothing but positive stuff about you, and people are inquiring about you. So after this show right here, maybe you'll have more Barnegat people coming down with you, right? Let me introduce you. And it may sound like I'm bragging a lot about you, but I'm just telling facts. All right, there's facts all about you, man. All right, Nico Steriti, all right, is a Tom Driver East legendary football player, and I can say that because I've been coaching in here for 27 years in the shore, and watching you from a sidelines. I don't think I ever coached against you at all, but I knew of you. Was that because I was at Southern and Lacey and just starting Barnegat with all your brothers were playing with that. We never got a chance to go against each other, and thank God. All right, thank God. But you were a 3-year starter at Tom Driver East as a running back, right? Making various all-star teams, the all-state, all-shore, all-county. But you were the best player in this area, no doubt, and probably arguably one of the best players at Tom Driver East. And that's coming from me, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that would say the same thing. You went to New Hampshire on a full scholarship, a 3-time all-conference running back, and you played at the highest level, playing in the national semifinal round, just missing to get to the national championship game. That must have been some fun there doing that, huh? Yes.
Crazy.
And I will say this now, and I'll let you talk about your brothers, but from 2001 to 2012, there's been you or your brothers have been part of the Tom Driver East football program. That must be, so I should get your dad speaking on here because that has to be such a joyride for your family. And I would have to say this, probably the best football Tom Driver East has had one of your brothers on that football field. Would you agree?
Yeah, the numbers, they don't lie. In those times, there was a lot of winning. So
a lot of winning, a lot of competitiveness, and a lot of good things going on over there in Raiderland over there with that. And we'll talk more about that within the show, Coach. But let's get right into the quarantining, and then we're going to talk, of course, about your business, which everybody's talking about right now. What are you doing about quarantining in Tom Driver? What do somebody like you do for the last couple months with quarantining?
Well, foremost, thank you for having me on here and giving us an opportunity to kind of showcase what we're about, and doing your homework and digging to, provide information to those who are interested in what we are and what we're about. So I'm grateful for that. Also, we did scrimmage you in your year, but I was on the sidelines. So you guys are fortunate. I didn't play.
Really? We
scrimmaged you, a night scrimmage. It was a game.
We did scrimmage you at your place. Yes, that's right. You didn't play. Yep, good.
But I did play with Mike DeTroya
Yep.
from Boston. We were really good friends in college, and Mike was a heck of a player. So I got to experience Barnegat football in my own way.
Yep, he speaks the world of you. Yep.
Mike was a great teammate. Mike worked hard. It's college. It's tough. It's not easy. School is a gift. All sports are a gift, but high school more. That's your childhood friends, and that's like years of building up and imagining and envisioning, and all of a sudden you're here doing it, and then it disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas college is a job more so than fun. But it's so fun working hard, and it's so fun going out there with your teammates from college who are from all different locations and you somehow find a way to bring it together, you know, and hopefully you have a good head who can lead you and bring you guys somewhere you didn't know you could go, and you believe in that person. And, you know, fortunate for me, I you know, I ended up at a great school. I ended up at the University of New Hampshire. I had other school opportunities, but, you know, Sean McDonald, I can't speak the world of him. And, you know, that's just a little bit of a background of where it came about. But as for the quarantine, you know, it kind of took that business I first started. Steriti School was the original business started, and we were doing well, and we were getting some feedback. Quarantine happened, and so I took advantage of the time that we had. I always yearned for time to myself, to meditate, to do yoga, heal my body, you know, and the Western world, we go, and we work, and there's like misperceived notion of, and the I've become more accustomed to post career, the inner work, of realization, the meditating, the traveling, the on my walls. I mean, it's all Egyptian culture, their masters, yogic practices. You know, this is my life, and I have altars everywhere. You know, got Buddha over there.
Wow.
You know, I could do a whole tour for you. Jesus is up there. Yeah. I have a lot going on here, but I also have my football days hanging up there, jumping over people and stuff,
You always need things to remember. Yep.
and my teammates,
Yep.
because these are moments that it really happened, and those feelings, those moments, they don't fade because I'm not living them in this moment. They're moments that keep me going, and I take that best as I possibly could, and give that idea to the kids coaching that they can experience, because that's what they want to do. They want to play, you know, they want to perform.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be the top dog. You know, that's all it is. And to get to that point, a lot of kids will do anything it takes. And you know, I'm sure you've been a lot of coaches will do anything, and that thing it takes takes a toll. Certain individuals in their own ways. So it gave me time to settle in and recalibrate my own personal. I was working out like a madman home, you know, and I didn't do that being a paraprofessional
Mm-hmm.
and sitting in desks all day. That took a toll on my body for a few months. That was different for me. Um, so then I had to sit down and game plan for what I was gonna do for my business, and I had ideas when I started the football school that I was gonna get with athletes, because I don't just football training, life, and there's more depth to it, and football is just so happy sport that I took my level of athlete to the highest, you know, the NFL being the highest, but I competed in the NFL, and I won those one-on-one battles. So psychologically, I always felt like I didn't wear the uniform, paycheck, but if I ran into an NFL player against, he would, and that to me is that's what I always for, was that respect at the highest level.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it as a, and that's what my hunger was. Coach was very good at that at the University of New Hampshire. He never really gave me a very long leash. You know, he was on, and the way he was me was not really showing that he cared about my success. Does that make any sense?
Yes. Yeah.
No, but he could do individuals to help motivate them. It's a tactic. So
Mm-hmm.
he knew I was self-confident. So his thing, you think you're going to go to the NFL, play special teams? you're a small school run. You better be good on special teams, you know. So that always that carried on into my life,
Mm-hmm.
and carried on into the quarantine, and as 30 sports, and
Right.
you know, started training athletes outdoors, practicing social distancing, doing the right things, and God opened up a window and gave our opportunity in Farmingdale with a great facility at the park, sports training facility. Ran very professionally up there. State of the art facility. Have access to a field, yards, state of the art, and it's an ocean and the Mama border, and it's like the west. So you have that. What is that?
Yes, Mercer.
Mercer County. So it's a unique location. It's a convenient location, and it's in this area because a lot of gems and not a lot of access to that level of resource and exposure. And I can be one that say the same. I one of those hidden gems, and I grinded and I went to camps. I went to 5 camps, like I spoke about going into my senior season. But I went to combine as a freshman, national underclassmen combine. Dave Schumann, the coach at Red Bank. I went in 2006, ran a 4.61. You know, playing wide receiver, my tail off. I always had to do that. It was never just, you know, handed. And you know, I hope that this younger generation took the quarantine, realized how grateful they are to play sports. I'm sure you dealt with that with some young Asian athletes. They're focused on the image more so than hard hat, lunch bucket, get your shovel, and start digging something together as a team. That old school, remember the tight little giant, right? I'm sure that's what.
You're what I call a throwback. You are the younger generation want to take shortcuts. All right, there's no shortcuts when you want to be successful in businesses or also in sports. There's none. There's that grind, like you say. The stuff. It's a process, and that's what this show's about. And you're very about that, and you're very about your teammates. And we'll talk
Well,
about that more.
for sure.
We'll talk about that more. Nico, can you tell me now at this point, tell me, tell everybody here your resume. I want to know exactly how you got to where you are through different levels where you've been at. If it was Pop Warner, you started Pop Warner, and every level got you to the next spot. I want to know how you started football to where you are right now. Walk us through your athletic career.
Well, first and foremost, it all started with soccer. I was about, I think, 4. You're allowed to start playing soccer, and 4 or 5, and I was really good at it. I scored a lot of goals, so I was really fast. You know, 2 older brothers played football for the Toms River Angels.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, they didn't have a flag football team yet, meaning it didn't exist, so you couldn't play football until you were 6. So I went watch them where I train athletes today, and I watched today with my, you know, the mom in their chairs, and I would just sit there all, and I was addicted to it, and I wanted to do it. So, you know, that's where that sport drew me through my 2 older brothers and succeed watching tension they watching them run and the camaraderie between their friends and then off the field, and then they were always busy. They always had to go accomplish something, so they pushed me and, you know, and always kind of made it known they hoped that I'd be better, you know, and really, to be honest, my 2 older, they were tough on me, you know. They had, because they were the first 2 to go through it, so they saw mistakes as they
Mm-hmm.
back. So when I was up, my head was big. I was an athlete. So they didn't want that to get to me because they knew that I could swallow really fast
Mm-hmm.
decisions. And I made the right decisions in high school, and and I stayed focused, extremely frustrated. I had to make tough decisions. I had to stop playing certain sports that I loved. Um, but that's what I thought I had to do in order to play college, and I had to learn. And I didn't have to do that. I could have played all sports, so it started with the Toms River Angels at 7 years old, and I was a first year Mighty Might. I think I wore the 3, and I was an offensive lineman. And then second year, this is the special story. Second year, my starting running back got injured a few weeks in, broke his leg. So then that's when I was running back, and I scored touchdowns. And then third year was when I started coming to my own as a Mighty Might, and I scored that year. And then that's when we midget it was a consistent stream of the same kind of thing. And going into my freshman year of high school, that was a tough season because brothers had just from Tom's River. Like, I had big expectations, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. I carried on every single day. Always, you can probably talk to some teachers now. They'll tell you all about it. But I was a highly confident young man. I was physical, as a football player. So to harness in school, harness when people did, and you constantly are working, and that's why I feel it in these kids every single day. So just stay focused, stay concentrated. Now we have the emotional support with our business, which we'll go in depth about. So things changed in time. I went from the Angels to Raiders, freshman year. Man, we had a good year. I think we went 6-4. And then my sophomore season, I started varsity, and we did make the playoffs. We lost to England, and junior year, that's when I started more, and I ran for 1,000 yards. We had a good season. Didn't make the playoffs. Started varsity as a freshman. That was fun. We were both safety. Mario, Coach Steriti, all about him. And then going into my senior year, that's when we shut down the hatch. We got together as a unit, and we saw what we were like the season before. Couldn't win because we had a lot of talent. My junior, we were loaded, but we couldn't find a way to win. We didn't buy into each other. A lot of clawing in the locker room, a lot of clawing on the field, and in sport and football, that it doesn't matter who you got, quarterback. It doesn't matter who you have at running back. And that's what I learned being one of those guys who perform and score. I couldn't do it, and the frustration of trying to do it on my own wasn't worth it. So I had to pick up my teammates, the best out of my team, and that's how we started. When the team were receptive of it, when they saw that my intentions were, I'm coming to work. I don't care. Right? You don't like me? Line up right now. Let's run a drill. And that's what it was. And that's my respect for my peers and for my teammates. Because when I lined up with you felt it, and that was it. It was running by you. It wasn't always me just trying to battle out of bounds. I was physical athlete. I was an athlete, and that respect is like earned in football, you know. And in high school, senior season, we lost semifinals.
You lost to Egg Harbor, right?
We lost Egg Harbor. We had a heck of a year. You know, our team played sound. We were disciplined. We each other. We hung out with each other. We went to Fridays every Friday night after the game. You know, we really loved each other. You know, and we weren't really more talented than some of the teams I played on in seasons prior, but we bought in, and you know, that was a great year for the program. You know, and I believe the coach was the coach for the offshore game that year. You know, we had a really good. That'll open up the windows for me to play college sports, and that's when the University of New Hampshire came in and offered me a scholarship for that season. University of Maine and United States Naval Academy, and I had 2 visits in our winter break after that fall, and they were for UNH and Maine, back-to-back weekends. But I had to open before UNH, and Naval Academy contacted me out of nowhere and offered a scholarship, and I squeezed them in the weekend prior, and I committed on the visit at the Naval Academy. I gave a verbal commitment.
Really?
Yep. I came home excited. I didn't take my other schools thoughts, and after days of excitement down, I made the decision to contact the Navy coach and to take my other visits. They were cool with it, you know. They were, you know, I couldn't thank them more for that. And I went to UNH there, and then I went to UNH because it wasn't as intriguing as a running back was, and where it was, and speculation. New guy, I was had to develop trust. You know, when I went to UNH, the play and the camaraderie, and they like it was like this school in the middle of nowhere, but it was like New York City. Like they were, everything they were doing was the most important thing in the world. There was nothing else but what UNH.
Mm-hmm.
Some type of magnetism as an athlete, and they were reputable. They were winners.
Oh yeah.
They made it to the playoffs, but then I went and watched them in the playoffs in high school, and they got steamrolled Nova, so they couldn't get that physicality in the playoffs, that deep physicality, and they would die out in the playoffs, and that was the same happened, you know, when I showed up there. But we changed that up. So yeah, we took our visits, and I elected to go to UNH. I signed the paper. I was excited. Played in 2 All-Star games that summer. Played in the Governor's Bowl at Rutgers. I got the MVP game, and then I played in the All-Star, and I got the MVP. We lost to Monmouth County, but it was a really good game. Quarterback, you know. But you know, throughout that journey, led me to UNH, and whatever I prior to UNH got burned in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
No, you know, that was like the first thing that was discussed when you showed up as a freshman was, oh hey, how many touchdowns in high school? Right in the running backs meeting, an upperclassman asked us. You said it. They said, oh cool. Well, nobody here cares.
Mm-hmm.
Now you just have the tape, and now you have to go make a new yourself with, you know, and it was definitely shocking for me, you know, coming from a, you know, immigrant. I think my parents are both immigrants, really tight in culture sized style family. So to go to New Hampshire on the other side of the, you know, and to those things up there, it was a culture shock. I won my freshman year for a couple months. I was not happy, but I, I I fell in love with my teammates, with my friends.
Yeah, that's your teammates again.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I ran some specials. One being a friend of mine, Todd Walker, who my freshman year he was shot in March. You know, having a relationship with somebody who's completely got since, you know, it led me now. You know, going through my career age, playing in 2 national semis, you know, being a 3-year all conference running back, all those were fun and cool. But when I graduated and I had to dig into myself and realize there was more to life than just playing sports. Um, you know, my friend the way he was my, you know, he came into my life and he left me a little dream, and in that dream he left a little format on how to handle it. And he hired me, you know, and I started drafting after my career. I went through some turmoil and some spiritual warfare, more so than mental. And you know, I followed of my friend who had passed. You know, I wrote now 3 books, published 3 books.
Really?
Yup, self-published 3 books under the name of Cosmo. That was my published. Um, you know, I got some of them in here, but you know, that's really one of the big part of my purposes on earth, books, and leaving behind, you know, some stuff that I might not be able to sit under the thing.
Yeah. Coach, so you went right through, you played college football, okay? You coached 1 year at Central, right?
Yep.
Okay, you coached 1 year at Central. Here's what I want to know about is like how did this schooling that you have, which is S3, which is Steriti Sports School, where you're training athletes. How did this even come about? Did somebody throw an idea to you? Were you thinking about this when you were somewhere else? And then I want you to explain what this schooling actually is, because it's something that is growing very fast, and it's a talk of Ocean County, and now it's trickling to Monmouth County. Explain your schooling on what you're doing.
So yeah, you know, after I went through all those things, I, I like I said, I created a lifestyle for my own self between yoga, meditation, fit. I went through injuries that ended my. I had to readjust the way I worked out. I couldn't lift weights anymore. I had no cartilage in my shoulder. So how do you stay ripped up? Hey, you have to change your lifestyle. You have to figure it out. You have to. You're human. You can figure it out. Your body's amazing. You have to go by the book, you know, and that's what I did. I explored body, I explored yoga movement, and I explored meditation to heal my body because I couldn't just moving it. I had to go into it emotionally and nurture. I did Nepal. I studied yoga and meditation in the with and his family, Yogi Panchavad of Tushita, Nepal. He was a man and taught a lot that I traverse business. These men on my, they're from India, they're from different cultures on earth. It's an ancient science, Kriya Yoga, and this is something take energy, put it into the schooling. But obviously, not obviously, but train you to be a better athlete. We do the speed, we do the strength, but it's very functional and it's very sport, and your body and you developing your body, getting that with me as a coach, so I can think on the fly and create the program day that fits with where our bodies are right now. So then our management isn't affecting our performance on game day. So like I played at such a high level that I pushed my body limits, that I learned effective tactics. Kids are just having so much fun. They're having so much fun. It's not work. They're addicted. They can't wait. My box goes crazy. Kids, they can't wait for tomorrow, 30 and Saturday. I showed up, okay, and it was purpose. I had a run in with something in the morning, and my point. They bust my chops. They early bird gets the worm. If you're on, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. Like this is the thing I got taught at UNH. Some military stuff. But ultimately, the schools is to aid in all athletes long term on their journey of sports and fitness.
Yeah, that's so how I want to know, where do you see it in a year from now, or you want to keep expanding it in terms of the network of people in the short conference? Where do you see yourself with this your whole schooling?
Well, the vision has been brewing. I was young, and it's always been my brother Mario. We've always had this vision of this sport ab center with physical therapy. Through it, we went through therapy. We went through concussions. We went through spiritual warfare. We went through, losing years to injury. We went through things. Formers. I had a scholarship at a prep school. Like we learn things that you can experience, and we want to give the best experience to these athletes. Not that we didn't have, we did, but I want to be the coach I didn't have. I want to be that coach that tells the kid, hey kid, your game's not today, not tomorrow. Let's do some yoga today, because and they still get a workout, they still learn something, and doing up down and hitting pads, because that's all we know. And this is new scientific ways, I believe, revolutionize.
I like what you do with your training of yoga, because a flexible athlete is a better athlete. You really focus on the little aspects of things that make you better instead of just running. You're teaching them how to run and how to get stronger with one side of your body. Here's what I said, Coach. If you took a freeze frame picture of a football game, the NFL or college, most people's weight are not equally on both feet. They're either 70-30, there's a lean one way. If you're blocking somebody, you might have more pressure on your right arm than your left arm. And people don't train that way. They don't train that way. But in the game of football, when are you ever pushing a bench press or an object at the same time, or squatting at the same time, pushing, driving off both your left and right foot? You need to have more pressure on one while you're balancing and forcing the object to go the other direction. That's what you do, and I like that.
I'm so happy you brought it up. We don't use any straight bar, not one straight. I've had both my shoulders operated. I have no cartilage in my left shoulder. I benched 450 in college, and I power clean 320, squatted 480. I feel everything. That's not of powerlifting. From my perspective as an athlete, I'm loading and explode and maximize the generated force, translate the acceleration and transition while remaining mobile and competitive all hell. Because if you don't implement the competitive factor of training the way you're motivating, then we're just duds.
Coach, I tell my kids all the time, give me 4 seconds. If you really think about it, give or take maybe a couple seconds here or there, but 4 seconds, they're going as balls out, going as hard as he could, and then they're going to regain their energy and then do it again probably in 30 seconds or another minute with that. That's all it is, football. So when you're doing all this training, it's more rest than anything if you think about it, the game of football is. But when that 4 seconds goes on, boy, oh boy, you got to make it work. And you might, as a running back, have guys leaning on your one arm with your body going, and you got to still balance and explode the other way. That's the thing that these kids don't realize. If they go to these normal trainers in the weight room, at the retros and all that, they're teaching them how to be bodybuilders. Bodybuilders are not football players. They're not. They're not that. And I laugh when people try and tell kids how to work out, because that's not how you work out. And what you're doing is the right thing.
Coach, I had a teammate in college who's a scout for the Redskins right now. He won the player of the year. Yes. His name's Matty Evans. And he used the weight room and go on like balls and just do this in between for like minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes. You know? So like the point is there's always a different way to body to what you eat, you know? But it's also good to have who's designed a program scientifically the way they've conducted the body, right? My selling point, the way I live, they're getting my energy. I put the work I do. I set up that I create in my mind. I try to challenge them mentally and physically, but not to a point where they're saying they can't move. You know, I've done that for them. I've done up downs till I couldn't move. I played Pop Warner football in the ring. They don't want, you know. I had cracked helmets in Pop Warner, and the coaches let us play. So it's just
Yeah. I don't believe in that stuff too. Negative reinforcement, telling kids to do something if something didn't work out,
and allowing them to play positions that they want to play. You know, I get it. Put your pawns in the place, and by that's what you're supposed to do. But if a kid is not in a position, he's else. Well, then I got to shift the motivation factor. This kid that if you can't prove this, I don't want to hear it anymore. You're going right back to your position. You know, instead of go scratch, kid.
Oh yeah. Oh man, the motivation of a young man. I mean, we're all trying to figure that out, and you know, we're kind of figuring things out on the run. But that's important, because if a kid's motivated and he's thinking the right way and he's listening, he's going to be successful. I believe that. I really do believe that, and I really love the stuff what you're doing.
Think about putting on shoulder pads and think about putting on. You know, sometimes, you know, some people forget about that. And I know that all too well, man. I know it all too well. 5 years of the mileage of this in college on my body. It'd be more any mileage in any sport I ever played combined, just from college practice.
Yeah. Well, the recovery is something that really wasn't looked at by a lot of coaches. And now with the quarantining thing right here, I told our coaches we're going to focus on the recovery as just as much as the actual conditioning and the workouts when we come back, because these kids are going to be so out of shape. And if they're not ready to go the next day, what good is your workout going to be? So our recovery mentally and also, their nutrition, all that stuff, which you guys focus on a lot of, has to be almost the most important thing because you want them to come back the next day.
Absolutely. It's, I made the decision. So I went plant-based. I haven't intentionally invested in athletes since I was 25. I'm turning 20. I've accidentally chewed into things. Don't know. They forget. And I never defensively dealt with it. But my point is, I lost a lot of weight I didn't need to carry. And I looked at my college career like, man, if I only knew what I know now. Very unconscious with the eating and in terms of, my nutrition and athlete. I was eating burgers, things like that. Wasn't worried about vegetables, fruits, shakes, and when to put these things in, when to work out, what to do when I work out, depending on my body cycle. Like these are things after playing. And like you said, the running form, I learned that after when I got trained for my pro day by the track coach. I didn't see him for 5 years as an athlete. I have one conversation with him. I don't know why. But my ego is too proud. I'm fast. I don't need to get. And then I had to get ready for my pro day. I had to sling off, and I asked the track coach, and he got me prepared. He got me, and I used the same taught me in the program. And he's been coaching 25, 30 years.
Coach, I'm sure people are out there wondering now how to get a hold of you. How can, when we get off this show and people want to get a hold of you, I'll put it on my website and all that stuff, but is there a central number or maybe an email that you have that these kids could be looking into to contact you?
Of course, yeah. So, right on our website, which is in the link of my Instagram page, is all the information that you would. If I was to just give you a quick number, it's 32575-9500, and that's my, and that's the business phone.
And yeah, and that now, do you have like group rates? Do you have any stuff thought of about that? Like, let's just say 5, 10 guys from the same school want to work out. Do you have stuff like that available, or is it one base?
Right now it's subscription based. It's one month by month. I would suggest doing it individually because it's that's how I run the program. You get a journal with your subscription. You're responsible for yourself. So when you do the groups and everyone's coming together, and it just takes away from the single person's focus.
Yeah.
So because when you pay for that subscription, now you're expecting a certain result now, and now you're meeting me, and now we're getting that work, and you don't care if it shows up. You're worried about you showing up, and that's the kind of program we're looking to run, and maybe down the road. The only kind of group thing I would do is on Saturday mornings we do a early beach session at the house. That's free. That's for anybody. That's for anybody in the area who wants to come and but
Mm-hmm.
I highly suggest you're in shape. It's not. These guys have been working with me for a while. It's not like anything
Right.
anywhere. I give that session to free to my guy. So the subscription that they purchase, the day, so it's 5 days access, 4 days access, and 3 days access, and I'm 5 days a week. But the kids just buy the 3 days access or the 4 days access, $175 or $199, and you get 12 days to 16 days for the whole month. Show up, and you tell me how you feel after the month and where you're at. These kids are addicted. They're addicted. because we have so much fun. We compete, huge turf field. You know, where in Ocean County are you have a turf field and playing football? You're throwing the ball around, catching routes. You're working on your craft, professional. Where can you go, coach, if it rains and you need to practice? You can't go to Monmouth County, and then you go up there and you're waiting in line, taking a ticket.
I wonder if you guys are going to actually rent that thing out to local high schools for, you know.
That's 100% possible. My goal is, is merging with the goals of the facility, and it's a beautiful thing right now because the facility itself, they have a nationally recognized AAU travel baseball and softball league team, New Jersey Intensity, and they're nationally they're big time. These girls, they play all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for me to be a part of the program and training for their athletes, as well as bringing my own wave of athletes. So where do I see this in a year? I can't even predict the point, but I can tell you that I'm working every single day. I'm staying open-minded, and then trying to find ways to make sure the kids leave with something from that session. So, if I was talking to a parent right now, I would say, if your kid's going, this is the high. It doesn't matter what age, because I have 8-year-old, 9, 10-year-olds, 11, 12, 13, 14, all the way to 18, 33. The program is scientifically tailored to each individual because it's through yoga, called SPOGA, sports yoga, SPOGA, and that scientific approach opens up the channels of the child and gives them a chance to be express and gives their body free movement. Yeah, we do speed. Yeah, we do agility. Very creative. I have a lot of different ways, and that's what's getting them better and do it. But the yoga, if we don't learn how to open up our hips and our knees and our extension, our spine length, that's gonna correlate into our performance. It's science.
And you're also teaching them discipline.
100. 100.
Yeah, which is just as important as anything. Just as important than anything. So, wow. I mean, listen, this was good seeing you on here, man, and hearing your story, which is very, very young right now with your business, and I foresee it within the next year or two even getting bigger because you're getting quality athletes that are also echoing it out to people. I know Andrew Veneri has you from Barnegat, and he's one of my leaders of my football program and speaks volumes. You have your brother Mario in our program, who's got a bright future in Barnegat football right now, who the kids really adore. And you got a lot of, and your name is, and your family name's very, very well respected throughout the Shore Conference. So now that they know you're doing something like this, I think that the sky's the limit with you guys. Really do.
Thank you so much, man. This
really,
is, for me, it's just a blessing to just be able to live the style that I believe in, and to create an income and a way to pay for my bills so I can live functionally and not have to go work hard that I don't enjoy. Like, this is something I've been working really hard on, and I'm not fully there. We're just getting started. I'm a paraprofessional at Central, so teaching, but with what's going on in this world in the future, we just don't know what to. I was only 1 year in, so I keep looking out for myself and working hard. I can't wait around and hope something happens.
It's so great that you're doing something you love and not sitting working another job and just thinking about if you were doing something else. I love doing what I do. You love doing what you do. And that's half the battle. Again, your mind's really in the right purpose, and you can move and be 100% successful. That's what you're going to be doing. So you're helping a lot of people out there. I keep hearing about it, like I said, and your network of people is going to grow. It's just going to grow with that. So if there's anything that Barnegat football could do, in the future with S3, please let me know. And if I can get you a whole bunch of guys there in the off season, I will. And that's that. All right.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you coming on the show and taking some time off and talking about your successful school. And you know, just all your brothers are also helping you out with it too, right?
Right now, I'm more so kind of the person do. I started the business. I've been the one running everything. My younger brother Mario is who's involved, not like as involved as he would like to be, because he's got other responsibilities and other things that he's engaged into. So he just comes in and you know, it's something that I'm fully committed to, fully devoted to, and like you said, it's probably I gotta just and you know
It's
keep
fun.
plugging. Yeah,
It's fun. You're teaching, you're educating young men, and you're giving back the stuff that you want other kids to also have, you know, that maybe you didn't have or you want them to have what you experienced in your successful athletic career, right?
yes, sir.
Tell
That's it.
your family said hello.
I,
I remember your dad through those years, and also remember the recruiting aspects when coaches would come to our school and say they had to go to you. That was always something that I heard a lot when you guys were playing football. So, all right. Hey, and if
Coach.
you have little Steretti's going around, bring them the Barnegat. Bring them the Barnegat, man. All right.
Coach,
Thanks a lot.
so much
You
for and being patient and let me, express, more about myself and what we're looking to do. And, we're excited, we're really trying to help this area and make sure kids feel cared for.
Cool. All right. Thanks, man. All right. Again, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Yes, sir.